everybody, it's Holiday Branch and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you guys are staying safe. I hope you guys are staying inside. I hope you guys are washing your hands. I hope you guys are taking the time to reflect. I know that a lot of you guys are going through a lot of things. I know that this is hurting a lot of people in multiple ways, whether it's emotionally, physically, mentally, and financially. But just know that this too shall pass. We're all in this together, and most importantly, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Speaking about there is nothing to do, I just want to say thank you guys so much for everybody who is a returning subscriber. You guys are the best. I love it when you guys are following me on Instagram and you guys are telling me I love your video, Holiday. Oh my god, Holiday, you should do a video about this, you should do a video about that. You guys, I like that type of shit, okay? And if you guys like my video, make sure to tell me on the comments. Make sure to like this shit because I need motivation. It's really hard to like film and to edit, but like to get that type of positive reinforcement, it just motivates me, okay? So I just want to say thank you guys so much. I love you. Now, every time when I post on Instagram, and if you don't follow me on Instagram, make sure to do. My Instagram name is I am Holiday Branch. Now, every time when I post on Instagram and I ask you guys like, yo, like what type of fucking videos do you guys want me to do? Every time it comes out all the fucking time. I have girls asking me, Holiday, can you make a video about how I can be confident? Can you give the tips and tricks about how to be confident just like you? Now, I have to say, thank you guys so much for you thinking that I'm very confident. I'm not gonna lie, I am. I'm very confident. I'm very secure about myself and who I am. But the thing is that I've never been confident until recently. For those who don't know me, just know that when I was a kid, when I was a little baby, I was one of the most insecure crybabies that you will ever meet. I mean, I'm still a crybaby. I'm actually a very emotional person, but you know, like I had such a low self-esteem when I was a kid up until, I guess you can say, college. And the reason why is because I was bullied a lot, and I still get bullied, but not as much. So here's a little story time about my life and how I was as a kid and how my childhood and adolescence has affected my adult life. For those who don't know, I am the oldest child of 5 fucking kids. Yes, I know it's a stereotype. Yes, my mom is a really funny person, but you know what? So am I. So when I was born with a lot of health problems. I was born with a heart problem, and also I was born with a muscle deformation. I was born with this disability called mild cerebral palsy, non-progressive. I don't even know if I said it right, but you know what? I really don't care because I'm trying not to refilm this shit again. Yes, I was born with mild cerebral palsy, non-progressive. And what basically that means for my case is that my right side of my body is like physically smaller than my left side. And I know there's a lot of people that say, well, like, Holiday, like my left leg is a lot more bigger than my right leg. Yeah, that's completely normal, but mine is significantly a lot more smaller. Because it's significantly a lot more smaller, I actually walk with a limp. My limp is very visible. I remember when I used to be a server at LAX, I had a lot of people like come up to me and be like, Holiday, like, are you okay? Like, is your leg okay? Like, did you sprain it? Did you hurt yourself at the gym? And I would always kind of laugh at it because I'll be like, no, like, I didn't hurt my leg. Like, I just walk like this. Those who haven't seen me walk, my right leg, well, my right foot, every time when I walk, my heel won't touch the ground. So this entire time I'm like walking with my toes and my heels up. And for those that know anything about, you know, body movement, know that walking on your toes is really unhealthy, especially for your hips and your calves. So when I was a lot younger, you can just imagine how ridiculous I look walking with my right toe on the ground and my heel popping up. And because I was walking with a limb, it definitely brought a lot of attention as a child. There would be so many people that would come up to my mom and be like, oh my God, like, is she okay? And same thing, like me, my mom would have to explain to everybody that I have mild cerebral palsy. And so, of course, like when you are with your mom, a lot of people would, you know, feel sorry for you. But when my mom wasn't around and I started attending school, that's where I was getting really bad attention from my peers. I started getting bullied. I had people like tell me names. I remember when I was a kid, I had a lot of people call me pata chueca. And for those who don't know what pata chueca means, it just means like crooked foot. And I was not only bullied, but I was isolated by my peers as well. Describe the situation, you know, when you're like at gym and you have to like pick people from your group. Yeah, basically every time when people would have to pick like who is going to be in the group, I was always the second to last option, or sometimes even last. I had so many girls like diss me as a child every time when I tried to be part of a social group or tried to like interact with like my peers. I had a lot of people just dismiss me. And you know, looking at back, like, you know, to me it's just like childhood games. Like even for me right now, like every time I try to be friends with other people or try to make small talks, like when people are like dismissive to me, I don't take it like personal. I'm just like, oh, whatever, like you suck, like you suck. That's pretty much my reaction to it. But like as a child, when you like get ignored, especially from people who are in the same level as you, it hurts really bad. Like it hurts really, really bad. And because I was like receiving all of this as a child, it definitely hurt my self-esteem. I remember I would come home crying because nobody wanted to be friends with me. Nobody wanted to hang out with me. People were being mean. People were calling me names. And there come a point in where like I was kind of suicidal as a child. I remember my mom would always talk to me, telling me like holiday about them. They're just being kids. The only thing that you need to take care of is you and your school, and that's pretty much it. And it's really, really hard to like understand that as a child, because the only thing that you want is to be accepted by your friends. And that is so true all the way until adulthood. Like every time when you go to work, you want to be liked by your coworkers, you want to be liked by your boss. It's completely normal to seek validation from those who are around you. And this shit followed me all the way until like middle school. The closest thing I ever got to be part of a social group was when I was like in middle school and I was part of the emo scene, I guess you can say. I was a fucking stereotype. I was totally emo. I had short hair. I had like the side swoop. I was wearing black all of the time. I loved My Chemical Romance. Like that shit was so nostalgic to me. That was the closest thing I ever got to being part of a social group. I remember I started dating as well. I was actually one of the youngest girls in my class who actually started dating. And it felt really good to be part of a group of people. It felt good to be dating. It felt good to be desired and to be liked by my peers. Everything that I wanted as a little girl, I was getting it as a preteen. But of course, those type of relationships don't really last that long. And the reason why is because we're preteens. We barely know anything about ourselves. Our bodies are changing. We start, shaping, our own beliefs and our own identity. And we're taking things, as it comes. And once I started attending high school, all of those people that I considered to be friends, they were no longer friends with me, nor were they friends with those people as well that we were associating ourselves with. And the reason why is because fucking people change. So what ends up happening is that I started becoming a fucking loner. Literally a loner throughout my entire high school career. I'm not gonna lie, like, at that time, I was really, really sad. I was, being the same little girl that I was when I was in kindergarten. I was so sad that I wasn't part of a social group. I didn't understand why nobody wanted to be friends with me. Shit took me really, really hard, and it started bringing me back into those suicidal thoughts that I had, because I felt that I wasn't important. I felt that I wasn't desirable. I felt like I wasn't wanted, and I just felt like a wildflower, to be honest. I was really, really sad because I yearned for validation. I yearned for validation from my peers, and there's nothing wrong with that. So during this time, I started taking the opportunity more on my schoolwork. I actually ended up graduating with honors. And because I graduated with the honors, I got accepted to all of the schools that I applied to. And I ended up attending to University of Colorado Boulder. I forget, when I was in senior year, I started crying really, really badly. And the reason why I was crying was because I started seeing all of the activities that was happening, such as prom and the senior picnic and, senior grad night at Disneyland. I was so sad because I was just like, oh my God, like all of these activities are happening and I have no one to go with. I'm really happy that that happened to me as a child and all the way through my adolescence. And the reason why is because I got to appreciate being alone. I got to appreciate being by myself. And because I didn't belong to a clique and I didn't belong to a social group, I had no one to look up to. I had no one to get anyone's approval to do or say certain things. And here's an example that I'm gonna put. Girls are so fucking notorious to be very judgmental creatures, especially in their adolescence. I would see this shit all the time with my fucking sister. My sister, on the other hand, she was super popular in high school. She was always with a bunch of friends. She always had an entourage. Like, my sister is the complete opposite of me. I mean, she still is. I remember when, she would have like her little drama in her clique, she would always like say, I can't do this, or I can't say this, or I can't date this particular person because what the fuck are my friends are gonna think about me? What are they gonna say about me? I don't want my friends to like fight me over this. I would see this shit all the time with fucking girls. And I hate to say this, but I've never experienced anything like that. I've never experienced any type of dilemma with friendships or anything like that. I've never been in a dilemma and where like I have to like think about like, oh, what are my friends are gonna think of me? Like, what are people going to say about me? I've never had that dilemma. And because I never had that dilemma, I feel like that's what had allowed me to appreciate myself and who I am as a person and allow myself involved to the person that I am today. For example, I hate to say it, but I had like so many people tell me like, you're so lucky that, you got to be a dancer, because I don't think I would ever like, be confident to be a dancer. Well, the reason why I became a dancer was because like I had no one to follow up with. Like, for example, I had so many friends who were strippers who were really scared that their friends or their roommates would find out. And, she was like, I don't want them to find out because they're going to start spreading rumors about me. Or like, me and my friends went to the strip club, we went to the library, and I had all of my friends say like, oh my God, what happened to these girls for them to become strippers. And I kind of laugh about it because I'm just like, I've never had a situation like that, and I never will. Only people that I have to respond to is like my parents. And and I feel like that's the same thing that happened with my parents. The reason, because, and this is to say, like, because I never had anyone to like follow up with, I didn't really have to care about what my parents think about me. I mean, to be honest, like, I really don't care what anybody thinks about me. Like, I really don't. It's not to say that what people say about me hurts, because it does. I mean, it's natural for humans to yearn to be part of a social group. You know, it's kind of our thing. Like, that's why we have villages and why we have tribes and why we have nations. It's because in order for us to survive, we have to be part of a social group. It's kind of like the lone wolf idea, right? Like, if you don't stay with the pack, you're going to die, because you need to have people to defend you, stand up for you. And if you ever come in a situation in where you need to rely on people, you have a group of people to rely on. Now, with my situation, it's completely different, because the only people that I have to rely on is like my family and my boyfriend. I will say that dating for me has never been an issue. I'm very confident in my relationships, and it's the same thing, because I never had any fear of, like, you know, of anybody's disapproval. It's the same thing with like boyfriends. Like, is the same. That's why I've been confident to tell Warren, like, hey, like, I'm a stripper, and if you like it, that's cool, and if you don't, I really don't care. This means that this is going to be the first and the last date you'll ever have, you know, with me. So best of luck to you. And I feel like, even though it's very dangerous to have this type of mindset, I feel like that's what has worked for me. Because if I have to give a suggestion for anybody who's never had an experience like me, where they never had any friends, or where like they feel like, you know, they've never been accepted to part of a social group, just know that my biggest tip for people who want to be confident or who strive to be a more comfortable person with themselves, I feel like you need to be okay with pissing people off. That you're gonna have to be okay with being alone, that you're gonna have to be okay with relying on yourself and just yourself only. You're gonna have to be okay for people disagreeing with you. You have to be okay with relying on yourself for majority of your life. And you can't just, like, you know, depend on other people. You know, like, I know it's really hard to sometimes, you know, take things, you know, by yourself, you know, such as burdens and, you know, situations, experiences all by yourself. But like, honestly, like, when I think about all the things that has happened to me as a child, you know, like my parents' divorce, or like, you know, my illness, or like, you know, all like the small little things that make me sad, I've always dealt with it by myself. And because I dealt with them with myself, I feel like I can do anything. And I know that there's some people who don't have the courage to face very difficult situations by themselves. But the thing is that, like, I feel like that was the only way that I was able to be confident, that I had to learn how to cope with myself. And I feel like it has worked for me, and it may or may not work for you, but just know that that's how I became confident. So that's pretty much it. That's my entire YouTube video. And maybe, you know, you guys learned a thing or two about me. I know it's really hard for every time when I tell people that I used to be bullied and that I never had any friends in high school or in middle school or in elementary school, they're like, are you fucking serious? Like, I would feel like you'll be like a socialite, or like you're like the popular girl. And it's just like, no, dude, like, popular girls make fun of me. Like, the girls at the fucking strip club make fun of me. Like, they try to beat my ass for no fucking reason. I don't know why. I mean, I know why, but you know. But yeah, like, I was never really a confident person up until I started being an adult. And the reason why was because I learned to, you know, to be by myself. I already accepted the fact that I was going to be by myself, and I still am. I don't have any friends. Only you guys are my friends. But I hope you guys learn a thing or two. Just know that, like, it's never going to be easy. It's never going to be easy. But just know that as long as you have yourself, and the only person that you have to rely is on you. And as long as you know that, and you have a good sense of self, I feel like that's more than enough to be confident. But at the end of the day, I don't know shit. If you guys like this video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you agree with me, write it down in the comments. And if you have other tips and tricks about how to be confident, like, write it down, you know. Maybe I'll learn a thing or two from you guys. I don't know. But make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys next video. Bye.